Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to do something super fun today. We are basically becoming pattern detectives. We're going to look really closely at the world around us and uncover some of the hidden rules that literally govern everything. And hey, whether you consider yourself a math person or not, trust me, by the end of our time together, you're going to see numbers and shapes in a completely different, way more fascinating light.
So, to get those detective brains warmed up, I want to start by asking you kind of a weird question. What does a zebra and a traffic light actually have in common? Take a second, really think about it. Because, on the surface, a wild animal and a city street signal seem totally unrelated, right? But if you look just a bit closer, both of them actually follow a highly predictable sequence. A zebra's body has those alternating black and white stripes. And a traffic light, it cycles from red to yellow to green, and then boom, right back to red again. They both follow a very specific, predictable order.
Okay, let's dive into this. What you just observed with that zebra and the traffic light is exactly what we call a pattern. Basically, a pattern is just the repeating of something over and over again according to a specific fixed rule. And these aren't just abstract ideas for a math class. We literally see them everywhere in our environment. Think about the tiles on your kitchen floor, or how petals are arranged on a flower. Whenever there's a fixed sequence or order happening, you are looking at a pattern. Section 1. Number Patterns. Uncovering the Hidden Math.
Let's look at this sequence of numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And, it keeps going. Look really closely at the mechanics here. What exactly is happening? How are we getting from one number to the very next one?
And this brilliantly illustrates our very first rule, +2. Every single time, we are simply adding 2 to the previous number. And because we've cracked that hidden rule, we don't even have to guess what comes next. We know with absolute certainty that the next numbers are going to be 12, 14, and 16. That right there is the whole core of what we call a number pattern. Let's see how this actually applies to fundamental math concepts you probably already know. On the left, we've got odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And on the right, even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We usually just memorize these as categories, right? But as you can clearly see, they're really just classic, highly predictable number patterns. Both of these sequences follow a strict rule, jumping forward in exact measured steps.
Now let's try going in a completely different direction. Check out this sequence: 100, 90, 80, 70. Notice how the numbers are actually decreasing this time? They're getting smaller as we move along. Can you spot the rule before I give it away?
So the crucial point is that a pattern's rule doesn't just have to be about addition or going up. The rule can totally be subtraction. In this case, our secret rule is subtracting 10 each time. And once you grasp that the rule is -10, predicting the next numbers becomes incredibly simple.
Section 2. Shape patterns beyond just numbers. Take a look at this sequence. We've got a circle, then a square, then a circle, then a square. So what logically has to come next? Well, because we've established that repeating sequence, you instinctively know the missing shape is, of course, a circle. We could do this with triangles, hexagons, whatever. Any sequence of shapes that repeats follows the exact same logic as those number patterns we just looked at.
But here's the thing. Patterns don't just repeat perfectly in endless loops. Sometimes they evolve. We call these growing patterns. Check out these steps. In step 1, we have 1 star. Step 2, 2 stars. Step 3, 3 stars. And step 4, 4 stars. The sequence is visibly getting bigger each time. The rule here is that one brand new star is being added every single step. It is a fantastic visual representation of a growing rule.
Section 3. Patterns around us. The real world. I mean, just look at this list. You already intuitively understand patterns because you literally live with them every single day. The arrangement of a brick wall, the grid of windows on a massive skyscraper, the predictable dates on our calendar. But it's not just visual stuff either. The rhythmic beats in your favorite music, the steps in a viral dance routine, the designs printed on your clothes, or the beautiful symmetrical geometry of traditional Rangoli designs. Mathematics basically gives us the language to understand all of these real-world structures.
Now, you might be wondering, why does all of this actually matter? Well, identifying patterns is a fundamental cognitive skill. It actively develops your logical thinking and teaches you how to solve really complex problems. By learning to predict the next step, you greatly enhance your overall observation skills. It literally makes math easier and, honestly, a whole lot more fun. This is exactly why scientists, engineers, architects, programmers, and even artists constantly rely on observing and using these rules in their everyday work.
Section 4. Quick practice, the detective's quiz. Let's see what you've got.
All right, here is your first challenge. 5, 10, 15, and then a blank. What comes next? I'm going to give you just a second to think about what's happening to those numbers. Yep, the answer is 20. If you guessed that, you successfully found the hidden rule. We are just adding 5 each time. Fantastic job. Okay, let's try another one. Let's step it up a notch with a slightly trickier sequence. We've got 1, 4, 7, 10, and a blank. Look really closely at the gap between the numbers. What rule is being applied here? Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how quickly your brain probably spotted the answer once you realized that the gap was a consistent +3. The missing number is 13. Your brain is naturally wired to recognize these mathematical jumps. Okay, one final test for our pattern detectives. This time, we're going back to visuals. Circle, square, circle, square, blank. What shape completes this sequence? And the answer is a circle. Huge congratulations. You just proved that you have immensely sharp observation skills, whether you're dealing with numerical data or visual geometry. Let's move to and see how this builds into our final summary of everything we've learned today about the logic of patterns. We covered a ton of ground, but the core takeaways are actually super simple. A pattern always follows a fixed rule. You can build them using numbers, shapes, or really just everyday objects. They can simply repeat in a loop, or they can grow step by step. But most importantly, they are found absolutely everywhere in our daily life, and understanding them takes the mystery out of math, making it so much easier and way more enjoyable. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. What hidden pattern will you discover in your world today? The very next time you walk down the street, listen to a song, or just look at a building, use your new detective eyes. You are going to be amazed at the mathematics hiding in plain sight. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep observing.